Perfect. Session being recorded, so let's kick off. Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning, depending on where you are. I'm Pallavi Chari. I'm part of our Amazon Web Services Specialist Organization. I look after go-to-market for industrial IoT applications. And I'm joined today by James Green, who's a director in our partner Green Custard. And you'll be hearing mainly from the two of us today. But we also have on the panel to answer questions Iti and Sebastian from our partner Mendix, and Nicola from Matterport. And the intent is of this session is to talk about how some of these solutions and capabilities across AWS and partners are helping manufacturing organizations who follow lean practices of Six Sigma optimize their operations. James, if you can move to the next slide. So what you'll be hearing today is a discussion on what we are seeing in the market and from our customers who are following lean manufacturing practices, the trends and challenges and the pitfalls they experience depending on where they are in their lean manufacturing journey. What is involved in successful lean daily management on a day-to-day basis, and considering these market conditions, how AWS and our partners, Green Custard, Mendix, and Matterport have come together to start solving some of these challenges to help our manufacturing customers go through the journey with the Lean Daily Management Suite. We'll also be talking about how we can get started with a solution that Green Custard is fronting, which allows you to start seeing value pretty quickly from utilizing these capabilities in your business. I think before we kind of step into lean manufacturing, what it is in the solution, I think it's really important to recognize why these processes, such as Six Sigma and lean manufacturing, are becoming really important to our customers. There's a survey that was run by Pricewaterhouse in industrial customers, and if you look at the slides, nearly 1 in 2 companies feel that to survive in the next 10 years and be profitable, there needs to be a strong focus on operational flexibility and agility. That's the single biggest thing. There are factors that are controllable and factors that are non-controllable. So things like the regulatory environment, supply chain shortages, rising energy prices, these are factors that we struggle with on a day-to-day basis. There are other factors that are more controllable, like competing operational priorities, lack of visibility into the end-to-end process, a growing skills gap in terms of demand and supply of qualified personnel to help on both on the shop floor and in different ancillary pieces. There's limited budgets, and there's a lot of strain on IT departments to keep the lights on, to keep the fundamental infrastructure going, and then to look at more transformational initiatives becomes an increasing challenge. And as you'll start to see in the next slide, that lean manufacturing is one of the ways to reduce waste across the company. So the core concept of manufacturing and lean practices is to continuously look for inefficient processes and try and eliminate them on a day-to-day basis. If you think about what the main goals are of lean and any manufacturing organization per se, I think there's a build-up on the slides. If you don't mind just clicking on the 2. So at a very high level, there's a manufacturer wants to increase throughput, improve the product qualities, reduce production times, reduce unplanned downtime, and remove costs across the process. In that, they are challenged by limited visibility across the system. So what's happening in the production line? What's happening across different sites? There's a lot of manual processes. That means that there's a lot of errors. And there's operations in silos, both from a people perspective as well as from a data perspective, which means that there's a lot of time that is spent in trying to get all of this data together so that people can start to make sense of it. And if you think about what happens in lean management, you've got practices like Gemba walks, you've got the daily lean management boards, things that are kind of put up on the board, and there's data from everywhere that starts to come through. And to think about what is involved and the effort that is involved in bringing all of this data sets into one place so people can understand if their business is working as it should, takes a lot of effort. And that's what we're trying to solve for when we look at solutions like the Lean Daily Management Suite. one of the things that it focuses on very much, the solution, is the daily management. So it's the very operational aspect of how do I bring data from assets, systems, processes, materials planning, from shifts, all of this stuff that I need to understand on an almost daily basis. How can I reduce the time and effort it takes to bring these data sets together, to give it to the right people in the right way so that they can start to understand it? Because without that, unplanned downtime can cost a lot of money, uh, especially with the fact that if you're still using paper-based records, those get lost in translation. Those are not movable across, in terms of insights, across different departments, which means that there is a lack of focus or a lack of visibility on regularly monitoring things which are core to a business, like line efficiency or operational overall equipment efficiencies, which is kind of the core metric of a manufacturing organization. And then you kind of think about the people on the shop floor, right? And if there's something that's gone wrong, you're spending a lot of time waiting for instructions on what's gone wrong, what do I need to fix, how does that compare to another priority I need to fix, and where is it? And especially if you've got a shortage of skilled resources, you're probably looking at qualified engineers working remotely to try and help you. So all of that basically is a line of business goal that in the background takes a lot of pain to achieve right now. And one of the goals of the Lean Daily Management Suite is to eliminate that. And we're kind of trying to look at it from an operational persona perspective, right? So if what's going on in the shop floor, what's going on in the plant, and how do people get affected, and how can we help them do their jobs better? So at a very base level, if I look at the plant manager who's looking at the plant, I mean, the goals are not, I've got to do lean. The goals are, I need to improve my production. I need to make sure that my asset remaining useful life is maximized. I need to be flexible in my production practices. I need to make sure that I have the right skill set and the right shifts that I manage. I need to understand where downtime is and kind of meet my KPIs. In that, there's a constant balance between how do I make sure my infrastructure is cost optimized, but my production is going the way it needs to do? How can I make sure that my workforce is always trained on any new production line that comes up or any new changes that we're looking at? Going on from that, if I think about the next level of persona, which is your shift supervisors, there's kind of the more immediate need coming, kind of translating down from there, which says the shift supervisor needs to schedule shifts. Somebody's on leave. How do I make sure that there's no downtime because of it? If somebody who has the knowledge is away, how can I make sure that I'm still kind of operating at the maximum capacity I can? They also need to look at things like safety standards, look at where inventory and materials need to be kind of substituted. So, and in all of this, their kind of operational challenges are that there's a lot of manual data, there's a lot of fact finding, there's a lot of different dashboards that they need to refer to. So if I need to understand if someone's on leave and who's the next best person to kind of fill that gap for that machine, for that workstation, there's one dashboard. If I need to look at root causing incidents of a machine is down and I need to help my shop floor fix it, that's another dashboard. And then to kind of bring the two together to say, well, if it's a material planning issue, is it in stock? That's another dashboard. And pretty soon you're starting to look at 10 to 15 different data sources that you've got to refer to solve one problem, which is then affecting the end goal of optimizing or working at maximum optimized capacity. And then right down to the shop floor and the line operators, right, who are actually doing the work in controlling the machinery and equipment. Let's take a very basic example of there's a critical machine is down. There's a new hire who's turned up and they have no idea on how to fix this. They have no idea who to call to fix it. Now, traditionally in manufacturing, when we've spoken to customers, we're like, we need to know the people who know the systems. And that's how it kind of progresses quickly, right? So there's different dashboards, data's sitting in different places. How can you help the line operator understand what's gone wrong, who to call, and what are the best kind of ways to fix something like this? Create those workflows so that allow them to kind of handle the incident independently so that they can move on and not take away time that they need to be on the shop floor doing the production run rather than kind of trying to figure out how to fix something that's broken. So those are the kind of challenges that we see on a day-to-day basis, which is what something like a lean daily management suite starts to cater to. So on one side is the data twin. So, and when we talk about the twin, it's a twin architecture which brings together different data sources, both hierarchical and non-hierarchical. So if you think about what's going on the shop floor, you've got your telemetry data, you've got your SCADA, your MES systems data, you've got data coming in from your business systems like your ERP, you've potentially got production schedules, you've got shifts, you've got your CRM systems. All of this business system, production data, telemetry data sits in different places. And what a twin architecture does is to start connecting to these data sources where they are so that you can have a centralized information model. What it then helps is to be able to then start to layer applications. So right, here's my asset downtime monitoring, but then the same thing then starts to talk about what production runs does it affect. And then it starts to talk about who's the right person to fix that asset. And that's where the visual control with Mendix and the low-code application platform that is tightly integrated with our services like AWS IoT TwinMaker from AWS start to help. Because what Mendix is doing is starting to bring together that data architecture into multiple low-code application platforms, which are significantly extendable by line of business users to build the kind of relevant views and dashboards that you need on the shop floor, right? If you're an engineer, if you're a plant manager, if you're an operation or shift supervisor, you need to have different views. And they're all looking at the same data and an information model, but just in the right way. So you're not being overwhelmed by that data. And you don't want to have to go back to IT all the time to ask them to build this for you. And that's where the Mendix application suite combined with services like AWS IoT Sitewise and IoT TwinMaker starts to create that end-to-end landscape. And sitting in the middle of that is for use cases like connected worker, for use cases where you need spatial contextualization because you don't have the resources on the shop floor. You need to understand from a remote engineering perspective, from a global plant OEE measurement perspective, if something is down, if something is inefficient, where is it? What's the context of the production line? And how do I navigate my way through that site without actually having to incur the travel cost of going there multiple times? And that's where immersive spatial scans like Matterport are inbuilt into TwinMaker, embedded into TwinMaker, and then brought into the Mendix app platform, start to create that end-to-end solution, which means that if you start to deploy this in a structured fashion, then the data, the visualization, and the contextualization start to drive business value for the shop floor straight away. And that's the thinking behind the Lean Daily Management Suite. So if I had to kind of summarize the key benefits that we are looking at for customers when we kind of bring the AWS capabilities and our partner capabilities together, it is data aggregation across the 10 to 15 different data sources that you have to be able to create a central information model and a central visualization model that then you can leapfrog from into multiple visual insights and analytics, multiple workflow managements, and different user views. And to be able to give that power to the hands of the line of business user so that you can then, as a user on the shop floor, whether you're a plant manager or an operations director or a line operator, start to bring the views that you need, the events and alerts that you need to see on a daily basis so that you can keep the plant running the way it should. I'm going to pass off to James soon, but I want to kind of touch base on one of the services that is kind of sitting in the as an orchestration layer almost of all of these different solutions, which is what Green Custard has used, and it integrates with Mendix and Matterport, which kind of brings this this end-to-end solution to life. Is a service called AWS IoT TwinMaker. What it does is TwinMaker connects to different data sources. So the intent is you should not have to build a new data lake if you don't have one. If you have one, if you have your ERP systems with a company, you have your SCADA system somewhere else, you've got your telemetry data somewhere, we should be able to connect to it. And that includes things like maintenance history, process data, even things like your statistical kind of physics-based models or AI machine learning outputs on one hand. And there's also the fact that data is also in different formats. So for example, if I think about an asset that's down as a use case, an asset that's down, and you want to understand, and you're not at the site, you want to understand what's happening to the asset. You should be able to see the history of the performance of the asset. You should be able to see which production line it's on, what orders it affects. But you may also want to kind of zoom in into a live video feed of that asset to say, I want to help you fix it on the shop floor, but I need to have a real-time view. And that's where TwinMaker also connects to things like live video feeds. You can bring in as built CAD and BIM files to kind of give you a view of the metadata behind it. But increasingly, we find that a lot of customers want to understand the as is. So what is happening now on the shop floor? What's happening because the manufacturing plant changes over time, and that is where companies and partners like Matterport are able to give immersive 3D views of the shop floor and the plant as is, and to be able to then kind of help you navigate the space not as it was visualized, but as it actually is right now. So once TwinMaker is connected to those data sources, it creates a central knowledge graph and a data information model, from which you can then start to build multiple end user web applications through companies like Mendix for both planning and operations needs. And some of the features of TwinMaker are kind of designed to help you navigate this scenario of, how do I connect my data? How do I build a data model? How do I build those 3D scenes which allow me to absorb these insights in a natural way? And how do I then action that data with companies like Mendix, who are able to kind of build on top of the data twin to bring that into the user environment? And what Greencastle has done, and as you'll see, is to kind of take services like AWS IoT TwinMaker and SiteWise, and then integrate with Mendix and Matterport to build a solution that means that you can, instead of kind of having to build this independently from scratch and trying to figure things out around the way, you can start to deploy this in your business and start to see value relatively quickly. James, you're the expert on the solution, so I'm going to turn over to you.
All right. Well, thanks very much, Pallavi. Thanks very much for your presentation. Really appreciate it. And thank you, everyone, for your time today. It's my genuine pleasure to be talking to you. So if you are not already embracing lean manufacturing within your organization, then hopefully Pallavi's presentation has convinced you that you should be looking into it. And in the second half of this presentation, I'm going to talk about an offer from a consortium of AWS partners that should accelerate your journey. It's an offer for people who want to properly adopt lean manufacturing principles, but who, for a variety of reasons, are struggling to take their first step. And it's an offer that we have deliberately structured to remove any risks or concerns that you might be feeling yourselves. So let's get straight into it. So yeah, I'm James, and I'm a director at an advanced tier AWS services partner called Greencastle Limited, and we're a systems integrator, and we're one of the main UK AWS partners who solely specialize in IoT, and we do a lot of work with manufacturers. And like Amazon, we're customer obsessed. Our average review score from customers on Amazon's review portal is 9.4 out of 10. And we're extremely proud of that. And so for what I'm talking about today, at its core, it's an offer that follows lean manufacturing principles and specifically lean daily management. I'll give you a recap of lean daily management in a bit, and then I'll take you through the offer, what it is, how it works, and look at some of the features. And finally, I'll give you some pointers for where you can go if you want to know more. But first, I thought it'd be good to go through a case study of one of our existing customers. So they're a leading producer of corrugated cardboard boxes for a range of industries, including Amazon retail, actually. And their starting point was they had no hardware, i.e. no sensors on their equipment, they had no software on-premise or cloud, and they had little internal expertise other than just the regular sort of IT department. And so our offering is a perfect match because it doesn't assume any prerequisites, and it makes no assumptions about what the customer has available at the start. And our mission is to take them from that blank canvas to a full pilot of a lean daily management solution. And the customer, this particular customer, is moving to a new factory in the future, and they want that to be a digital first factory from day one. And so with their current factory, though, they have an opportunity to learn and do some experiments, but due to sort of perceived complexity, they're yet to make any inroads into their digital transformation. And actually, we see this same barrier so often with many customers. So for their lean daily management stand-ups, they need insights on things like machine health and utilization. And we work with our sensor partner, IFM, who I'll talk about shortly, to select appropriate sensors. And in this case, it was vibration sensors on existing equipment. And we retrofitted them to their corrugator machines. I mean, they're sort of big, 50-meter long machines that corrugate the cardboard. And we work with the customer's IT team to transfer the data securely from on-premise into the AWS's cloud. And we also work with the customer to design the dashboards and the alarms and the reporting that are required for their specific business needs. And I'm very pleased to say the customer's delighted with their solution and the insights it's providing to them. And we're working with them to expand their digital transformation and prepare for their new factory. So with that success story under our belt, I thought let's do a quick recap of lean daily management and the problems we're looking to solve with this offer. So there are an amazing number of businesses who still rely upon paper-based processes and a collection of Excel spreadsheets. And some of them that we've encountered are surprisingly big, even enterprises with billion-dollar turnovers. And as with anything, there's always more to be done, even after having started your digital transformation. And globally, $50 billion is wasted annually due to unplanned downtimes. And I'm sure that, you've all felt that pain of downtime at one time or another. And when downtime happens, a quick response is needed to minimize such losses, as well as the employee frustrations that come with it too. But 20% of time is wasted traveling to different parts of the factory, and another 20% is wasted figuring out what to do when you get there and waiting for instructions on how to resolve the downtime. So there's a big prize to be won, and this is an opportunity that's well worth all of our time. And lean daily management is a crucial component of lean manufacturing, which is an important mechanism to get on top of these challenges. Key metrics that measure how well a factory is performing are loading efficiency, LE, and overall equipment effectiveness, OEE. And we need to measure them. We need to measure them accurately and in real time, and we need to measure them consistently. And you can't manage what you're not measuring. At its heart, the offer we're presenting today helps manufacturers improve, but also sustain their OEE. Next slide. So what actually is lean daily management? Well, Pallavi already gave a high-level introduction to this, but I thought it worth providing a little more detail. LDM is a business approach, really, focusing on continuous improvement and operational efficiency through daily monitoring, through visual management, employee management, and prompt problem solving. In LDM, we often talk about the 4 M's, which are the 4 areas we're trying to manage and optimize, and they are a key theme in this offer that we'll see. The first M is machine, which are the tools and equipment that are used in the production process. We need the machine to be reliable, we need to be well maintained and used efficiently. An example of a machine might be an industrial printer. The second M is material, the raw materials or components needed to produce the product. And in our printer example, this could be the paper and the ink. Effective management of materials includes ensuring quality, reducing waste, managing inventory efficiently, and ensuring that materials are available when they're needed to prevent delays in production. So the third M is man, and this is the human element in the workplace. And it encompasses the workforce presence, their skills, their communication, their motivation, their teamwork. And in our industrial printer example, this could be the printer operator or a maintenance technician. And the last M, the fourth one, is method. And these are the processes and the procedures used to complete tasks. And this involves workflow, standard operating procedures, and best practices. Optimizing methods involves streamlining processes, eliminating unnecessary steps, reducing variability, and ensuring consistency in output. With the solution available through the offer we're presenting today, you'll achieve transparency with all the data in the factory in one dashboard, providing a view across everything. You'll have improved response time. If an incident happens, the response can be streamlined and potentially even automated. A worker can be dispatched to resolve it, and the resolution status can be checked and shared. You'll be able to make your decisions through data. With all the data in one dashboard, it's much easier to make data-driven decisions based on the facts. Operational excellence, empowering workers to accelerate and sustain OEE. As you'll see shortly, the offer brings in an AWS partner, Matterport, who we mentioned already, and they have a 3D spatial data platform of your facilities. With the spatial data and 3D rendering, the data is available much more intuitively, and it helps achieve the results more quickly. With the root causes of problems categorized into the 4 M's of lean daily management, the action that is taken is much more likely to be correct first time. So, as mentioned previously, the offer is from a consortium of partners led by us, Green Custard, the system integrator. Adoption of LDM is important for manufacturers, but we recognise that it can seem daunting when you're taking your first steps. Just a list of partners in this offer that we've brought together shows the sheer number of components that need to be coordinated and integrated. So the idea behind the offer is that it removes the hassle and the risk for you, the customer, and delivers a pilot solution to adopt LDM. Importantly, it begins to deliver outcomes from the day of delivery, and the offer is fixed price, so it's low risk to customers. So who are the partners? Well, Siemens, they provide Mendix, and this is the application environment, which is the interface that gets presented to your users. Mendix is a low-code development platform that allows building, integration, and deployment of applications rapidly. The platform enables the creation of a wide range of applications, from single mobile apps to complex enterprise-grade solutions. By being part of Siemens, Mendix benefits from their broader technological ecosystem and all their industry expertise. Second partner is Matterport. They provide a 3D spatial data application, and they will scan your facility, which we can embed within Mendix. Matterport's 3D data platform enables users to create, modify, navigate, and share 3D models of physical spaces. Models can be augmented with real-time data and telemetry to give a much more intuitive and powerful insight into what's going on. The 3D spatial data is captured using high-quality 3D cameras, and a scan of your facility is included in this offer. IFM, they provide and install sensor hardware. So IFM are a global leader in the development and manufacture of sensors and controls for industrial automation. They have a local presence in 165 countries across the world, which means that they can visit your facility in person and choose the right solution for you. And a visit from IFM is also included in this offer. So IFM's portfolio includes a huge variety of thousands of sensors, and they're highly experienced at monitoring manufacturing assets. And finally, as Green Custard, well, we integrate it all. We build the digital twin in AWS. We connect to the sensors, we connect it to Mendix and Matterport, and most importantly, though, I think, is that we tailor the application to your exact requirements. So what's included in the offer? Well, every manufacturer is different, so we've worked really hard to devise an offer that would work well across the board. It takes you from nothing to a bespoke LDM solution created uniquely for your business. So we begin by holding a consultation with you and undertaking a discovery exercise to understand your situation and the outcomes that are important to you. Together, we design the best solution that meets your requirements. Our partner Matterport will perform a 3D scan of your facility. Our partner IFM will visit you to understand the specifics of your manufacturing assets and machines, and they will choose appropriate sensor hardware from their catalogue of devices. We also work with another partner, CloudRail, to get connectivity from the sensors on the factory floor to the cloud, and we will coordinate with your IT team to do this in a secure way, meeting any IT or networking requirements that they may have. And finally, we will project manage everything, and with all those foundations in place, we will then develop the application with Mendix that delivers on your specific outcomes, giving you the dashboards and the alarms and the reporting that were agreed in the discovery phase that we did with you at the beginning. And at the end of our work, you will have a working pilot that you can use going forwards. And the offer includes 6 months of software licenses for your pilot. So now let's take a look at some examples of Matterport and Mendix in operation. So I thought it helpful to visualize a typical screen within the Mendix LDM application. Now it's important to understand that this offer is all about creating a bespoke solution tailored to your needs. So these examples are just that, they're just examples. Mendix enables us to create any interface that is needed for your business. The screen here shows the dashboard for a particular machine in a factory. At a glance, any operator or manager, or indeed any authorized person in the organization, can see the current status and of any incidents, whether active or historical. This screen is for a particular machine, and of course, a top-level dashboard collates the data from all the machines and factors them into an overall OEE. Now, I won't do a full walkthrough now, but Mendix have a collection of bite-sized video walkthroughs on their website where you can explore the 4 M's of LDM. You can obviously see the insights that could be derived from such a system, and we will work with you to map them onto your specific lean manufacturing needs. Track on the next slide. There you go. Right, now we've got a demonstration of a Matterport 3D spatial visualization, and I'm sure that you will agree it looks absolutely beautiful. But more than being beautiful, the powerful side of it is that the visual representation really helps users deal with incidents more quickly and efficiently. They can visualize a problem more intuitively, and it's also exceptionally useful for remote users or people less familiar with your facility. In the LDM application, wherever you've got an asset, there's also a 3D visualization available. So let's look at the next thing, which is the cost. Very important part of it. Every manufacturer is different, but we've devised a base fixed scope offer that provides a solid starting point. Manufacturers have different numbers of machines of different types requiring different sensors. They have different processors, the methods in LDM, and they are starting from different points with different existing internal systems. Now, rightly, to maximize OEE, customers expect a bespoke system tailored to their business. Otherwise, the full potential to maximize could be missed. All that said, we've picked a typical scenario and costed it, as you can see, and this includes the discovery, the consultancy and the workshops and the sessions that we hold with you, the Matterport 3D scan, the sensor assessment by IFM, the hardware supply and the provisioning of it, networking hardware from on-premise to cloud, the bespoke software development, and support for a 6-month pilot trial. So basically everything. And at the end of the work, you'll have a working pilot that you can use going forward. And it's not a throwaway proof of concept. It's something that is designed to stand the test of time and be a solid foundation for you. So this last slide. So if you think you might benefit from this offer, we should just have an exploratory call to talk about it. Even if you think that this offer isn't a perfect fit, but you know that you would benefit from a digital transformation, then there are ways we can help, and we can explore these in a conversation. We're just genuinely here to help. You could also reach out to your AWS account manager and talk to them about it, or we could have a 3-way call together. This offer is listed on AWS's marketplace, and you can get to it from the links here, and you can scan the QR code. And also, we are at Hanover Messe, and if you're going to, let us know. If you scan that QR code, you can get in touch and let us know, and we can arrange to meet in person. We're also at Embedded World in Germany at the start of April, and again, we'd love to talk. If you're there, find the AWS booth and we'll be there and we can talk. I have a feedback form. If you'd be kind enough to fill that in, again, scan the QR code and you'll get to that. And that's it. So thank you ever so much for giving us your time today. And we're now open to questions. And we have got a number of people in the call from AWS, from Mendix, from Matterport, ourselves. So, do please take advantage of that expertise and ask questions.
So there's a question from Tom. Is there a limit on matter tags in the pilot?
And limit on the number of tags in Matterport?
So the Matterport tags, the matter tags.
It's a very good question, that.
James, I'm happy to jump in here too if you want.
Yeah. Go on, go for it.
Hi there. I'm with Matterport, and James Pallavi, thank you so much for leading such a fantastic session here. There is not a limit. The pricing for our subscription is not dependent on the amount of matter tags being created. So if you capture space, it basically is up to you how many matter tags you then want to create that will then be converted into TwinMaker tags. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you, Nicola. And I think there's another question around what are the prerequisites? Is there hardware needed? So I'm assuming that means that what if someone's already got hardware?
Yeah, so I suppose the question there would be, what you've got your assets, so you've already got your machines, but that's all we assume. You don't need anything else. So this offer's deliberately designed to make no assumptions. We want it to be as easy as possible for the customer to embrace the solution. So there's no existing hardware is needed, no existing software, no infrastructure. We will come along and work with you to work out exactly what's needed, and then we'll take care of it.
And those were the questions we had.
Okay. So sometimes people have asked me in the past about, they might have already begun some work on a digital transformation, and what if they've already done some work? Can we take advantage of that? And I think the answer to that is yes, we can. And in fact, we know that everyone's situation is different, which is why we made the offer sort of configurable. And if you've already made some progress, then this will probably give us a much better starting point, and it removes some of the unknowns. So we definitely look to take advantage of what you've already achieved. And so, for example, if you're already perhaps extracting data from a particular asset, we would be keen to use that data source rather than installing new hardware. And we would obviously reduce the fixed price of the offer accordingly to take such savings into account. And another question that people sometimes ask me is, is there a limit to the number of assets that can be managed? And the answer to that is no, there's no limits. In fact, the solution is designed very much with scalability in mind. But that said, we would recommend starting with a manageable number of assets, maybe 1 to 6. And with those successfully working, then you would scale it to more assets. And also, if the assets are similar in type, so then scaling is really straightforward. So, if you've got a number of machines all of the same type, then the solution should be trivial to scale.
And we've got another question on what is involved in the Matterport scanning.
What's in it, did you say?
So what's involved in the Matterport scanning? I'm
Oh, what's
assuming that
involved?
means that if you wanted to do a Matterport scan, what will it take?
Okay, I can answer that, but maybe I'll let Nicola answer it.
I'm happy to answer this. So basically, I think there are different parts of the question. So let me know if I'm answering this in the right way or if there's a follow-up question. There's different ways on how you can capture the space. So either you do it yourself with one of our cameras, or we have a team. It's called our capture technician team, which is basically certified capture technicians, skilled people, so to say, that come out and do the capture for you. And then basically, again, it goes back to your use case and your requirements. So basically, what's the space you're wanting to capture? How much of the space do you want to capture? Basically, can be then arranged. Does that answer the question, or is there something in particular you were curious about? All right, I hope that answered the question.
Yeah.
So what happens price and cost wise beyond 6 months? So actually, it's a good question, James. So this is a fixed scope pilot.
Yeah, that's right. Well, so I suppose it depends. If you leave it the same as the pilot, then you've just got I think the ongoing costs would just be the future. Mendix is a SaaS product, so you just have Mendix licenses in yearly licenses. After that, you would also have your AWS cloud costs as well. So I don't. Is there an ongoing Matterport SaaS cost? I can't remember if there is for that or not, but you'd have those costs. I guess the bigger question is, assuming the pilot's successful, what would you do next? Presumably, you would roll it out to more assets and perhaps integrate with more existing systems, because on the sort of method side of things, you may have existing other software in your organization that you want to integrate with. So it's a very flexible solution, but it would be dependent on where you want to go as to how the cost would change. But as I said, it is scalable. And so if you've got similar assets, then it should be quite straightforward to scale it.
Sounds good, James. And I think, like you said, it depends on the organization and what we're trying to do. Post the pilot, right? The pilot is a really good way for us to kind of get started, but it's a real question: what do we do after? Because the goal is to kind of look at it enterprise wide. Is it in terms of kind of getting in touch with yourselves and the folks from Mendix and Matterport? What's the kind of best way to kind of reach out? Is this based on the feedback form that's here?
Yeah, you can use a feedback form. Also, you can contact us through the marketplace listing, and also there's the email address on there as well. We'd be very happy to talk on that. I mean, one thing I should have said on the previous question is, of course, the very deliberately the pilot is designed to deliver you value. So it's not like when that ends that you stop. It's designed to continue running beyond that, and the benefits that you signed up for right at the beginning will continue to be provided by the solution. But yeah, if people want to get in touch, then there's plenty of ways.
Sounds like fun. I think we have about a few minutes left, so back to housekeeping. So we have recorded the session, so thank you very much. The session will be available on public links, so so you can kind of revisit the session along with all the panelists' kind of details, so you know how to get hold of the panelists. If there are any questions, please do let us know through the feedback forms or through direct contact, and we'll try and answer them. Just a quick kind of sense check on Hanover. So I believe the entire team from all of the different partners, including AWS, are going to be at Hanover. So if you are going to be there, please do drop by at the AWS booth, which is Hall 15 and booth D76. And we'd love to talk to you. But otherwise, thank you for your time and speak to you soon. Take care, everyone.